everybody. Thanks for joining this session. Welcome from Hack Bulgaria, Hack the Crisis Bulgaria. Thanks for the big reset from trending topics and the hosting of this event and the organization. So I will make a short intro. We have just 1 hour and we have 4 great teams to present, to present themselves. So we'll be short with the intro. I just wanted to say a few opening words about the event, about Hack the Crisis Bulgaria, how it started. It actually started with, it was initiated from a few people from organization Power of Bulgaria. This is an organization of entrepreneurs in Bulgaria who are willing not just to do business, but make positive change in society in a positive way. So not with anti and negative, but with positive examples through entrepreneurship. And a few guys there had the idea to start such a hackathon against the crisis. And it really started very quickly. Over a weekend, it was started. So Friday there was an idea, and Monday there was already a homepage, sponsors with 15,000 leva sponsorship, and a lot of supporters, and a lot of the jury members and mentors also came from this organization, and a lot of support about media and everything. So this was how it all started. About the first week, it was only 1 week for the preparation of the event actually. And by the end of this week, we had the event was covered in major medias, in primetime TV. We had around 800 people registered in the Slack channel. So we knew this is going to be a very intense weekend, the weekend of the event already by Thursday and Friday. I would give the word here to Mina to present a little bit more details about the organization, about the event itself. And we have also invited 4 of the most successful teams which were started during this event to present their project and their stories, let's say. By the way, I have shared the organization, the presentation. Mina will present. You can double click on the presentation view to see it.
Excellent. Thanks a lot, Tani. Thanks a lot for coming for this session. For us, it's really a privilege to have the chance to share our experience. So Hack Crisis was quite of a journey for us. The full idea of it was really to not just say stay at home and do nothing and watch and complain, but really to mobilize people to make an action and to do it in a very positive way. So I was actually personally very inspired. I'm living abroad. I have been abroad for about 15 years now. I'm based in Switzerland at the moment. And it's really kind of the first time that I really felt this community spirit in Bulgaria with so many stakeholders. We had incredible teams joining, such an amazing support from the mentors, a very motivated, quite small team organizing the hackathon. So for me, it was personally very, very inspiring moment, and it was really nice to be able to make a difference, particularly being abroad. So actually, if we go to the next slide, what is interesting about the Hack Crisis, similar to what Tanya was saying, we did it really in a week, which everyone was thinking this is completely insane. But the reality is the outcome of this quite intense week. We actually created the biggest hackathon ever done in Bulgaria. So we had, and there is a short summary on the following slide. We had over 850 participants, 180 ideas, 110 teams joining the hackathon, which was really a tremendous success. We had an amazing support from over 50 mentors, super high caliber people from Bulgaria. So these were CEOs of companies, very successful entrepreneurs. We had a lot of people with special expertise, like legal advisors, financial advisors, who were really at the availability for the teams for almost 24/7 support, which was really outstanding. And frankly, without it, I mean, probably that was the biggest assist that the team received out of Hack Crisis. During the full format, we had quite a large monetary prizes as well. So over 30,000 Bulgarian left were distributed to the winning teams, and there were a lot of non-monetary awards, like setting up applications for free, a lot of legal support for free, and a lot of other IT services that were provided for the teams. So out of it, as an outcome, we had 30 very strong teams shortlisted. And actually, we had also the huge privilege to have two teams coming from Hack Crisis, created during Hack Crisis, winning the European Commission Hackathon EU versus virus. And the best part of it is that we have actually both teams today with us, so they'll present their ideas and their journey. So if we go into the next slide, this is a bit how the full thing happened. Yeah, can you go? Yeah, perfect. So that's a bit the full flow. So we got the idea on the 20th of March, and already we decided on 27th to be live. So we literally had just 1 week. And during this week, we had to make everything happen, from like the IT infrastructure, the site, recruiting all the mentors, getting the sponsors. So it was indeed very intense, and a lot of people were asking me, how did you guys make it happen? So I think in a true entrepreneurial spirit, it was really flying the plane while building it. And it was quite incredible to see the support of all the organizers, all the teams, and all the mentors. Not everything was ideal, but I think people had like this community spirit, so it was really quite of a magical moment. During a lot of the hackathons, actually, the usual format is just 1 weekend, so there is a huge buzz and then everything ends. But what we decided, because we really believe that a lot of the ideas have quite of a significant potential, particularly in this moment of time, is to create a second event. So this was actually when on the 11th and 12th of April, we decided to do a second follow-up challenge, during which we pre-selected 30 teams to continue mastering their skills and continuing to have the support from mentors so that they can further develop their ideas. And then we didn't even stop there. We decided to partner with the EU Commission, both from organizational standpoint, but also from providing teams and giving teams the access to participate in the EU versus virus challenge. And actually, I think it's probably one of the best Bulgarian participations ever in a hackathon of such caliber. So that was a bit the journey from our side. I don't want to steal a lot of time from the teams because I want to give them the stage because they have a lot to offer. In case you have any questions, feel free to actually write us comment in the session chat. So we'll start with the teams and we'll actually start with We Care. So the format will be relatively simple. So each team will present their idea and their project for about 7 minutes. And then we'll have time for a couple of questions. So we'll start with We Care with Siliana, and then afterwards we'll go and move forward to the next teams. Siliana, the stage is yours.
Hello, thank you. So I'll be presenting our idea and what we did so far so that you can have a better idea of what we do and how we do it. So we, as stated by Mina, our team gathered during the first session of the Hack Crisis Hackathon in Bulgaria, and we didn't know each other before. So we managed to work together during 2 weeks, and for these 2 weeks, we had a pretty amazing adventure, and we came strong for the finals because we were not even part of the first 15 finalists, which is a fun fact about us. So let me show you a bit more, and I'll continue explaining while I go on the slides. So what we do actually is support young families with children that are left with no income as a result of the COVID crisis. So those are basically families that were left with no jobs starting March 1st from then on. So what we do is basically offer 4 types of relief packages to them, only free, sponsored by donations. And so these relief packages help by providing a breath of fresh air, allowing them to gather strength and overcome the challenges, and change the focus from how can I put food on my table into what can I do to find a job today or tomorrow. Also allowing them to focus on learning new skills, or switch a job orientation or whatever they need to be able to face the challenge stronger. Also help them have better control and preservation of their own funds, and cut back on immediate needs if needed. The achievement so far is that we participated in the Crisis Hackathon in Bulgaria, and although we were not part of the first 15 finalists, we managed to jump in the competition last minute, the Friday before the elections, 2 weeks later. And we also were elected among the 7 big winners, and we became the first among the 7. All those 7 are winners in our eyes, but I believe our cause is close to everyone involved and everyone in this crisis. So yeah, we are very proud and happy and grateful for this win. We also participated in the European version, which was very challenging because the team was focused on evolving our idea and everything we put on place. So we were not really able to participate 100% during the hackathon, but it's still an amazing experience. We already started month 2 of the package distribution for less than 3 weeks, because we only started distributing April 9th. So for less than 3 weeks, we managed to deliver more than 100 packages. We started also distributing flyers in the employment agency offices, because it's not only important to cover the online channels as much as we can, but also the offline channels, because many people don't really have access to the internet channels as much as we would like to. So this is a great opportunity for us. We also launched a product line because we wanted to put another way out there for people to be able to donate, and as incentive we created tote bags, t-shirts, etc. So we believe this will help us support the donations in the future as well. We also partnered with Space Academy so that kids can have an alternative and can find an interesting content joining our website. We also received a very warming feedback from our, I wouldn't say customers, but let's say the people that we help, the families we help. One of which is that many families are currently in need through the epidemic, and I'm grateful that we can count on WeCare in such difficult times. Thank you for your kindness and support. Well, people are basically very grateful that we exist so that they don't feel alone and abandoned. Because such an initiative like ours, I was not able to find in Bulgaria existing already. So we feel that we offer something valuable to the families today. The weakness, though, is that the target group is limited. It's only families that lost their jobs starting March 1st. And there are so many more that are with no income for so long before that. But we plan to extend and evolve in the future so that we can offer our product to larger groups. Today, the threat that we face, which is the bigger one currently, is the dependency on donations. And we are thinking how we can overcome that. So what's next for us is solve for as many families as we can and quickly scale on national level. We do deliver in entire Bulgaria, like nationwide, but we also would like to be able to scale that as much as we can in the coming weeks. Offer more flexible solutions to cover other groups at risk. So that's kind of in a way of partnering with all the academies that we could for software, online courses free of charge, as well as webinars for career orientation, etc. and partner with other NGOs to create a powerful community and make the random acts of kindness a new normal. We're thinking of creating a peer support groups, which will help families on the platform, and also be able to provide a mental health support if needed for those parents that are really struggling those times. This is our team. Me, Siliana, Dinko, the web developer, Petya, legal advisor, Sylvia, the designer, and Desi is the financial advisor. So this is the team as it was created the end of March for the hackathon, and this is the team to our days. If you would like to talk with us about what we do and how we can work together to make it possible for more families, you can write us at the email address you see here on this last slide, or in our Facebook page, or on the website, or directly call me if you prefer a phone conversation, right? So I'm available for questions if you have any.
Yeah, actually, I have a question about the sponsors, because the packages you send out to people are sponsored by companies. The question is, how could you attract sponsors, and why do they participate?
Yeah, they mostly participate because they believe in our cause, because they identify themselves with what we do. They hear about us through the media presence, because we already gave some interviews on the national media, TV, radio, magazines. So we are kind of present, but not so much. We would like to be more present, to be more known, because so many families out there need us and they don't really know that we exist, which is the sad part. That's why we are very happy that we can provide the flyers in the unemployment agencies' offices, because when people go and sign for the assistance the government provides, they can see that we exist. Other than that, I'm not sure how companies can learn about us. Maybe peer pressure through their own channels, right? Because if the ones that already help us cry out loud that we exist, maybe other companies through this peer pressure would like to participate as well. And this is happening, so stay tuned.
Now, one more question from my side. So what is the biggest challenge that you face? Is it more companies getting more on board? Is it actually recruiting families? So how do you see it in a bit like longer term, more sustainable way?
Yeah, well, today the most challenging problem we have is recruiting the right families, because we receive so many requests, like more than 900 requests in the span of less than 72 hours from families that need us to jump in and to provide assistance. The thing is that we only focus on the ones that are in immediate danger, that both of the parents, if there are two, of course, if there is only one, this person particularly lost the job due to COVID-19. And so they're not, thankfully, I think they're not so many, because only approximately 140 came back right after we sent out the registration form to gather the necessary information to validate that those are specifically the ones that we would like to help. So yeah, I think the group is larger, certainly know that we exist, and that's the role of the media, that's the role.
I think we lost her for a second. Good. So I think the essence of her reply, and hopefully she'll manage to come back soon. In the meantime, I'll give the stage to Bogdan and Art Republica.
Hi everyone, so Siliana's back, so I hope everything's fine. Many thanks for the great presentation. It's a pleasure to be here, so it's a pleasure to be around this vibe, this hype of the hackathon, this incubator, I would call, like, for ideas, for action. And I would like to thank not only the organizers for this incredible event, but also the fellow teams, since they serve as a natural example that they're setting forward. So many thanks, guys. You're doing a great job. So we hope that somehow we stay in touch and look into the future together. Yeah. So long story short, let's get to the chase. I would like to share the screen first. Right. So yeah, we call ourselves Art Republica, Art Republic Literal Translation. Long story short, yeah, we are proposing a digital art platform with video streaming content and specialized art program. And over the next few minutes, I would like to share our insights, our experience, and the adventure that we sort of went through during the hackathon. First of all, a little bit about our team. We met precisely like 1 or 2 days before the actual hackathon started. I mean, during the hackathon, essentially. So we didn't know each other before that. Yeah, we are pretty much colorful team. So I would say here we have developers, we have designers, we have strong, top-notch cultural managers, especially with respect to the Bulgarian Cultural Society. I would say we cover a lot of different skill sets, a lot of different abilities, and it's a great atmosphere there. Me personally, I'm Bogdan Georgiev. I'm a mathematician. I have a doctoral degree in pure math. Currently, I'm team lead for machine learning and artificial intelligence Fraunhofer Institute in Germany. And I'm helping along with Lechezar Gizdov, my colleague, in the web development of our platform and some coordination on the technical side. But yeah, as mentioned, the team is rather colorful, so we have a lot of different expertise here. So, as mentioned, here we're speaking about an online platform for art. And the first question is, of course, why do we bother? Why do we bother at all with such a platform? Well, yeah, I mean, it's no secret that the present difficult situation, cultural communities and art societies are, I would say, they're being put under enormous pressure. And on one hand, they're facing a complete lockdown of stages, of galleries, of concert halls, of theaters, so on and so forth. And on the other hand, there doesn't seem to be really a unified approach towards digital stage spaces with streaming content. So many artists are actually facing the problem. How do I expose my art online? How do I find my audience efficiently online? And how do I sort of look for my stage in the best way possible? And these questions are, of course, relevant even with the crisis being absent. So this idea is somehow can live through the crisis onwards as well. So these considerations somehow motivate and justify the need of such a maybe online platform that should unify somehow the online art community. And speaking of unification, we have a broad spectrum. Here we start with stage art, starting with theater performance through dance, music, and workshops, and even children's section, excuse me. Yeah, we've decided to go for such a spectrum on one hand because, of course, it's broad, and on the other hand, the idea was somehow to introduce this unification of the digital space. So, what have we done so far? I mean, during our hackathon, I'm proud to say that we were able to do some significant work. We've already have a working prototype, front and back end. I mean, everything built from scratch from us. Here on the left, you can see sort of a snapshot of how the platform looks like. There is a library of streaming events. There is a nav bar with content categories and so on. There is a user system, news section, so on and so forth. Yeah, there is a donation button here. You can see call to action, and further downwards, you can see, for example, there is a sort of a box that invites you to donate, as well as the library for past events. So, of course, this is still, I would say, slightly under construction, but I will say a few more about this in a second. Speaking about donations, this brings us to a few aspects of the business plan in general. So at first, we plan to have this platform built upon donation-based transactions. So, of course, the content at first, let's say the first few months, will be freely available to see for visitors. And yeah, the visitors and guests will be invited to donate accordingly using their favorite popular financial platforms, such as be it PayPal, for example, or ePay or Patreon, whatever, you name it. However, afterwards, we plan on a second stage with subscription options and virtual tickets for specialized content that's going to be available only on the platform and nowhere else. So, but this is some sort of a under construction still, this phase. Speaking of target groups, our initial idea is to focus, of course, on Bulgarian audience with a particular focus on communities abroad. It's no secret, Bulgarian communities abroad, they have this demand, and I would say, I dare to say, hunger for cultural content. And this is proved by the many successful tours and endeavors that Bulgarian artists are sort of taking up abroad, be it actors, musicians, cinema people, so on, etc. During the development of the platform, of course, we encountered many of the dreaded copyrights and contract aspects, and we managed somehow to resolve some of the contract options and regulate. We were able to regulate the legal rights between the artists and our platform by sort of the appropriate legal actions. So really, I'm really sort of, I dare to say once more, and I'm proud to acknowledge here that we did some work about these things. And where are we now? Well, still there is a lot to be done. We've commissioned, in terms of technical aspects, we've commissioned an entirely new design for the platform by the Punkt design studio in Bulgaria. And currently we're coming up with the first mobile version and the application, the related application for the platform. We're building up on these design concepts, the new design concepts right now. So stand by, we hope to have it running as soon as possible, maybe in 1 or 2 weeks. The platform is available under art-republica.com. And of course, we have already sketched the few first performances by the artists, the first streaming performances. We're in contact with many artists and the art community in general. So we are very sort of excited and looking forward to the upcoming kickoff of our platform. So I guess that's the end of my presentation, and I'm looking forward for your questions.
Perfect. Thanks a lot, Bogdan. Actually, I have a couple of questions from my side. So how did you actually decide? So what is your personal journey deciding to go into creating a digital space for the artists? Because indeed, we know that they're particularly hit nowadays. So that's one. And then my second question is, what was the initial reaction of the artists? So I'm just wondering to hear a bit the feedback.
Sure. The personal journey is really, I would say, strange and magical in a way. So all of us, although we are professionally oriented in very different, let's say, topics in life, we share this common love for art and culture. I'm a musician for like 15 years, hobby musician, of course. And pretty much everyone in the team is somewhat related, be it like a really cinema fans, theater fans, dance enthusiasts. We are somehow sharing this passion for culture, and somehow this came natural to us, to develop something to help the Bulgarian art culture and the art community. Let's put it like this. Concerning your second question, the initial reactions from, let's say, the first 10-20 people that we interviewed, like informally, were like, this should have happened way sort of earlier than it's happening now. So they were really enthusiastic about what we were doing, and they're looking forward to their art being exposed. So this somehow fueled somehow the fire within ourselves and the I would say the enthusiasm in our team. Yeah.
Excellent. Very good. Yeah, it's very interesting that you guys managed to find each other without knowing each other before the hackathon. And that's kind of a common passion.
I would say here that was one of the magic touches of the hackathon. So once more, we are really grateful for this event and somehow the way that it brought us together. I would say it's unbelievable.
I'm very much looking forward because I'm living abroad, so I want to see a bit of performances. Keep me posted how it goes.
Sure, absolutely.
Excellent. Thank you so much, Bogdan. So we go to Boris with Coupon. The stage is yours.
Yes. So actually thinking first.
I think there is a bit of technical problem, so I hear you very well.
How about
No.
can you hear me now? Do you
Not
know?
very well. So maybe try to mute yourself and unmute yourself one more time.
What about now?
No,
Maybe this from the
the
earbuds.
headphone. Yeah, maybe try without it. Yeah.
If possible to try without, would be better.
Otherwise, you have a very futuristic voice.
Do you know?
No, we're not hearing very well.
Yes.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah. Perfect. Boris Mikhoparev, are you with us? Because I can. Yes.
Yes.
So let's go with Bind. That was your journey, and then hopefully we'll figure out the rest of the technical details.
Yeah, of course. Let me just share my screen and actually disable my camera in the meantime, because I think it's going to be a problem. Okay, I hope you can see my screen. So, all right, yeah, hi everybody, and thanks to Trending Topics and Hack the Crisis Bulgaria for the opportunity to talk a little bit about 8bind. 8bind was born during the Hack the Crisis Bulgaria event, where we were one of the finalists. I knew one of the team members beforehand. She invited me to do something together, and we brainstormed like for a couple of other hours what we should be doing. And this idea was on my mind for a bit because I've seen this problem happening already. So we assembled our team for the first time during the Hack the Crisis. We were 6 Bulgarians. We were spread around Malta, Germany, Switzerland, Bulgaria, and we had a couple of like very intense and productive sleepless weekends, really. And just a couple of weeks later, we participated in the EU's versus Virus Hackathon. We were one of the 6 main winners. We won the social and political cohesion stream. To our very pleasant surprise. And both hackathons proved to be an absolutely amazing platform. We got very valuable mentorship, and we're still getting very valuable support. And they opened up a lot of doors that we were very thankful for. And since then, we also expanded our team with a couple of more nationalities in more countries. We're now 10 people. Everybody's volunteering. Everybody's part-time except me. Yeah, we're working hard on making this a reality. So what is 8bind? We are solving a problem that exists with data, right? Because during the current COVID-19 crisis, the problem with lack of essential healthcare equipment, mainly in the form of personal protective equipment, became very visible. And the inability of the existing healthcare systems to meet the demands, even in the most developed economies, showed the level of unpreparedness for crisis response in the face of a global pandemic. And there have been thousands of volunteers worldwide who are working on raising funds for PPE or trying to buy PPE or deliver PPE and ventilators and everything that's needed right now. But they, same as established charities, established NGOs, even governments, they face quite a few problems, mainly the fact that nobody has up-to-date centralized information about what's needed and where, who produces and has stocks of the needed supplies and equipment, and also who else is raising money, how much funds are already available for donation, and who else is trying to help the same people that you are contacting. What's more, though, is that our core team is Bulgarian. We have lots of exposure to the realities of Bulgarian healthcare. And we have family working in hospitals and managing hospitals. We know how important donations are for healthcare in Bulgaria. And in many cases, they're the preferred or the only way to get equipment and supplies, even outside the crisis. And if we start expanding to less developed countries or other continents, you'll find reliance on donations ranging between 30 and 80% in the most extreme cases. And healthcare spending per capita goes as low as $70 and $20 in the most extreme cases, which is just clearly unsustainable. So the worldwide reliance on donations for healthcare is very significant. But back to the current crisis, how do we help? So we're building a service that is collecting and providing up-to-date data on the current needs of healthcare providers that cannot be met by the healthcare system that should be covering them. We're collecting and providing information on suppliers that are applicable for addressing such needs, that produce the needed supplies for equipment and have the needed certifications. And we're collecting and providing data on the available funds from donation campaigns, charities, funds that are directed towards meeting the healthcare providers' needs. We're doing this by working directly with healthcare providers, but mainly by looking for and establishing partnerships with donation campaigns, NGOs, and other services that already have the relationships pre-built. We're building the service that's making the data easy to consume and manage. And we're building around data reliability, meaning that we're trying to build a system which allows to have up-to-date data, the most up-to-date possible, because in many situations, this has actually different answers. We are trying to provide data in context, so it can be actionable, it can be used for data analysis and crisis response planning. And around ease of use, as we recognize that there are varying levels of adoption of new services among healthcare professionals, and digitalization is not really universal. So we're really putting a big accent on realistic ways to collect and manage the data, which sometimes are less high-tech than one would prefer, and also actually takes quite a more time for a system like that to be developed. So who is Aidbind for, and who does something similar? There are quite a few use cases for such a system, so there are just like a few examples, okay? So if you're a hospital looking to inform the world of what you need in terms of equipment or supplies that cannot be procured by the healthcare system, we provide a platform to do that. If you're a donors, donation campaigns that need information on what's the current situation and where's the best to focus their effort and to coordinate between one another, maybe combine orders to get a better price, for example. And on the other hand, there are suppliers. They're looking for suppliers, meaning manufacturers, distributors. They're looking for exposure. They're looking to let the world know they exist. Right now, it's a very dynamic situation. We see, for example, with 3D printing, or how quickly manufacturers actually redesign their production lines in order to meet, now new demand. So they need to let the world know they exist. They need to let the world know if they're certified or not, and so on. And also suppliers that are looking to do market research, and also any expert in healthcare, in market analysis, which is looking to do data research, do data analysis, maybe build market reports. One of the questions we ask the most is, well, what about the government? Okay, because we're talking about we're going to help healthcare, we're going to help raise funds, and we're going to help with procurement. Well, we're not really competing with governments, because we're not digitalizing healthcare in the same ways that governments do. Because we're not building, for example, an ERP system for hospitals. We only ask a very simple question. What do you need that you and your healthcare system cannot pay for? And then compared to donation campaigns, we do not raise money, we do not buy, we do not supply ourselves, we do not ship. We simply provide data for them, which is valuable. And then there's companies, NGOs, like even the World Health Organization, that are focused on healthcare and pharma market research. So they should theoretically have this data that we're collecting. But the current crisis is evident for their ability or inability to help. All right, the whole healthcare market is over $8 trillion US, and there are just so much more lucrative areas to focus for detailed research and reporting than donations. Right, so the data is really fragmented and hard to get. So where are we now? 2 weeks ago, we won U versus Virus Hackathon. It was quite a bit of a boost for our publicity and the ability to realize the project, and also the Bulgarian Hackathon really helped us. We're one of the finalists there. We are several weeks from having our pilot product, which is going to be focusing on Bulgaria, and we are working with donation campaigns in Bulgaria, because we want to provide them a product which makes it easier for them to coordinate. We are also researching even countries on other continents which might have interest, so for example in Africa, because we already pan-European project with our spread of our team, but we're trying also to be global sooner rather than later, because the epicenter of the crisis shifts. Yeah, we are a longer-term project that a lot of other that happened during these hackathons. We have quite a lot of roads ahead in order to build the operational teams that need to collect the data and to build the rest of our platform. So we're also looking for financing in order to help us with that. So this is Aidbind. If anybody wants to help us on our journey or has any questions, you can also reach us on email. And I'm here now to answer anything you might ask right now.
Great, Boris. Great presentation and great project. Congratulations about this. I will have one question. And it is the most obvious question, I think, in this kind of projects, where you need a lot of data and where does data come from? And you need, obviously, a lot of partners, right?
Yeah.
So the question is, how is this going? You mentioned a few aspects, but which are the bigger partners you work with or plan to work with, or you are looking to work with?
It's a great question, because right now the world is a very different place. It was 6 months ago, and in 6 months going to be a very different place. So a big part dictates your ability also to reach the people that you ideally need right now. Okay, so for example, if you're trying to find suppliers, and like if we come here and we promise you we're going to we have a platform which has all the suppliers in the world that can deliver PPs, I think it's going to be naive until we can build something like that. It's impossible. This is also why this is a little bit of a longer term project. So the realistic goals that we've set for now is that we're trying to build this for Bulgaria. We're working with charitable campaigns in Bulgaria. Some of the smaller ones we're starting, because they are the perfect entry for us, that they have connections to hospitals and they already work with some suppliers. The moment that we have this pilot project and we're able to showcase actually what we built, it's going to be much easier for us to also find the key partnerships that we're looking for in Europe. But we're already in talks like with other projects which are doing similar things. As I mentioned, we are trying to find connections also to governments in different continents, because you need governments in some country to do that. And we are also trying to leverage our exposure from you versus virus in order to get more close to some European institutions, even to the World Health Organizations, because we need data from all these places, not only for the product, but also to prove its value, which is very critical as well.
Great, thanks. There is also one question from the audience. What was the best connection from the EU Hackathon?
Oh, wow. That's a great question. No, I cannot pick only one, I'm sorry. But we got absolutely amazing feedback from people like Sasha Bezukhanova. She has just such great experience she brings to the table. And Kirill Dzichev was an amazingly good contact to have, because he has so much also experience in similar places. But really what the most valuable was the polishing of our idea and the pitch, really, because every conversation that you have with somebody when you're presenting your idea is extremely valuable, right? No matter what their background is, because everybody has to get your idea, has to get what you're doing. So every single conversation was just very, very, very valuable.
I think the question was also about the EU Hackathon, the European.
It was very strange during the EU Hackathon, because we went in without absolutely any competitiveness. Like we really, like the conversation we had with the team before that was like, look, like there's like this weekend, let's do as much as we can, because we have like this stuff that we want to do. And during the weekend, we only communicated basically with our mentor. Like we did the presentations and everything, because we want them for other purposes, just for investment pitching and things like that. And I was just very surprised when I woke up like on the Thursday after that, and I had an email saying like, look, like you won. So this was a very different experience. Like during the Bulgarian hackathon, we were much more closely working with the mentors we had, and I think actually this also shows their value. While during the EU versus virus, like these largest hackathons, basically like there is so much happening that you cannot get this one-on-one attention. So now it's about exposure, right? We're getting interviews, we're getting support from the company Axway that they sponsor with our prize, for example, and this is the valuable part of this hackathon. But the Bulgarian hackathon was much more valuable in terms of like this one-on-one attention and building more close relationships and contacts.
I'm very happy to hear it. Very good. Thanks for this. Mina, I don't know if you have some other questions or something like to you.
There is another question. So which are the major technical challenges that you're expecting in the future development of the project?
Technical challenges. So on a purely technical level, we have built projects of similar scale before. So they're challenging, but we know what to expect. Is the things that we don't know that are scaring us. But one of the major challenges is just the different channels that we need to implement in order to be able. Because as you know, if you want to have global coverage, or even like only in Bulgaria, again, there is no digitalization. I cannot expect healthcare workers to adopt like a mobile application that you build for them. So is this data management aspect, which is very critical, and this is why also we're not rushing with this to market. We're trying to build and test. Now we're testing like with user groups, even on wireframe level. What's the easiest way for you to enter data and to maintain the data? Like if you manage to answer that question, then I think that we're paving our way to a successful platform.
Perfect. And actually, I have one question for you. Because when you mentioned that you're now expanding into Africa, that's new news to me. I didn't know. So I was just wondering, so what's your approach and on it, given that indeed like the data availability and all the rest of the challenges?
It is very early. Like we're trying to validate we're just trying to validate the value of the platform on a larger scale. And I don't think we're going to be like in Africa anytime soon, unless something dramatically changes. It's these markets which are very, very interesting, because 6 months from now, there's no need to help UK healthcare or USA healthcare. I mean, Bulgarian healthcare is always going to be a target because we are relying on donations quite a bit. But after all, like if you want to scale, it's not the first world country we're going to be helping. We're going to be like countries in developing countries and transitioning countries. So from now, we're already trying to understand what's the situation there. We're trying to look for possible connections with governments there. This is really what we're trying to do over there. But it's not like our focus right now to enter in Africa, next month, for example.
Thanks a lot. So very inspiring. Key takeaway is you always try, and you might win at the end.
Yes, you try, test, you fail, and you do it again better.
Excellent. Thanks a lot, Boris. So let's try with Coupon and Boris again. I hope it works this time.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, perfect.
Oh, great. Sorry about that, guys. I guess it's a good thing that I'm not the one handling the technical aspects of what we're trying to build in our project. Anyway, I just wanted to start off with a huge thank you to the organizers of the Bulgarian Hackathon, because without you guys, like none of these amazing projects that I've just been hearing about would have happened. Actually, the idea for Coupon, it was born the night before the Bulgarian Hackathon started. Just posted a random message on Facebook, hey, who wants to join me on that idea? And it turns out that there were 12 other people who were basically wondering what to do over the weekend. And they joined in. We never expected for this to go that far, actually. But because of all of the other teams, and it's a little bit like Bogdan said, I guess we're all raising each other up and motivating each other. And of course, the awesome organizers. We've come a long way. Of course, there is a lot to do. So let me tell you a little bit about what Coupon is all about. Let's see if that works. Can you see my screen? Yeah. All right. Coupon is slightly different than the other projects that we've seen so far. We are focusing on helping businesses. What does that mean? We identified a huge problem when it comes to our favorite places to go. Restaurants, bars, clubs, cafes, they're all closed because of the coronavirus pandemic. And while some of them are opening up right now in Bulgaria, they're not working at full capacity. And we investigated that problem a little bit further. It turns out that there is 8 million employees across Europe who are working in the sector. And these people are either being laid off right now or will be laid off in the next couple of weeks if things don't change. Let's hope they will, but still, it's going to take a lot of time for everything to get back to normal and for people who are working in the industry to get their jobs back. So that's the problem that we're trying to tackle over at Coupon. How are we doing that? Well, you know, mobile apps are going to save the world. So that's what we came up with. It's essentially an app. We call it a Gamified crowdfunding platform. Maybe some of you have used Foursquare in the past. It's this app which allows you to check into different places and you can become the mayor of a given place or something like that. We've combined that idea with Kickstarter, which is a crowdfunding platform, which most of you know, to come up with a mix of the two. So how does it work? Think about the favorite places that you usually visit or visited before the lockdown. So you must have a favorite restaurant or a bar, cafe, something. So you would be willing to help out this place right now to preserve its employees, most of all, and to be able to open doors once the lockdown is over. Because if you're staying at home, if you're stuck at home for months, and then all of a sudden everything is fine, you want to go out, but there will probably be no places to go to once the lockdown is over, if we don't support them now. So Coupon allows you to buy a voucher for future use from your favorite venues. You can get vouchers from a couple of restaurants if you're a big foodie, or a couple of bars if you're really keen on getting drinks after work. And this is going to put you in a leaderboard across the Coupon app. So we have leaderboards for foodies, for mixologists, for the bars, bohemians or party animals for the people who really like clubs and buy a lot of vouchers from clubs. So this is a part of the gamification that we have thought of right now. Now, the idea is to entice more and more people to buy vouchers and reach a target. Each venue has a target which it sets by itself. So let's say your favorite restaurant would need about 15,000 euros to survive during a 2-month period of a lockdown. Of course, this target can be extended if the lockdown is extended, or if the lockdown finishes and the restaurant can open, we can transfer the funds to the venue as soon as it opens. So we have a goal as a community, the loyal clients of that particular venue, to raise together 10,000, 15,000 euros so they can survive throughout the crisis. Now, the venue will offer not just discounts. In Bulgaria, we have Grabo, which is offering a 30% discount. It has almost the same idea, but same but different. We let the restaurants, the cafes decide what sort of discounts they want to give to the customers. And also we tell them to come up with different rewards, non-material rewards. Let's say if you're the person with the most vouchers bought from that particular restaurant, they can always book you the best table, or you can get free shots at the bar or free coffee at your favorite coffee house, etc. So the client, after they purchase a voucher, they start competing with other people who's the top client of a particular venue, of the favorite venues. Then they don't just get a discount, they also get additional rewards and perks from the venue itself and from Coupon. So that's pretty much how it works. Now, Coupon is a platform, and the most difficult thing about building a platform is achieving the so-called network effect. If there are not enough venues, not gonna go on there. And if there are not enough people on the platform to buy vouchers, the venues are not gonna get there. So this is probably one of the biggest challenges we have, apart from the technical challenge, of course, how to get the venues and how to get the clients on board. For the venues, we hope to use the contacts that we're going to be making during the EU Matchathon. It's the next step of the European Hackathon, to get to industry organizations on the EU member level and across the European Union, suppliers of these venues, and of course, other venues, because they tend to copy each other, and that's a good thing for us. How do we get the clients? Once the venue signs up on the Coupon platform, it needs to share their profile on all of their social media accounts and reach their current customers. Their current customers are probably customers of other venues as well. So that's how we're planning on getting to the much desired network effect.